Brenton, I'm ready to tell you my secret.
Okay, young Nathan. What is it?
I see podcasters everywhere, Brenton. Some of them think they're good, but they're all just shitty, including us.
What?
Another day, another podcast, Brenton.
Here we go.
January 21st, it's a Monday, and we're going to be talking about... You know what I'd love to talk about, Brenton? Because there's a scene in this movie we're going to be talking about that ties this theme in beautifully. Children's birthday parties. Do you miss them, buddy?
You know what? I do miss those children's birthday parties. I miss those party bags. I miss those meat pies. I miss those mini sausage rolls.
Yeah.
It's something that I miss in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nowadays, you know, you just rock up to a party and it's
just alcohol and
I mean, who wants that? I want those little like chocolate rice. What are they? Like they're like chocolate rice bubbles.
Oh yeah.
That are like in like a little cupcake tray thing that are like stuck together with chocolate. You know that stuff?
That's right.
That shit's the bomb.
Did that go extinct? Because that's why I haven't seen those since birthday parties. Like I've seen no evidence of that food since.
No, I will tell you this. I was at a 21st.
Okay.
A couple months ago.
Oh, did you go to events, Brenton?
And man, they had plenty of those chocolate rice bubble things.
Oh, okay.
And it was godlike.
Oh my god, that's amazing. But here's the thing, like you can do that now, like in your private life, Brenton, you can just choose to go to like Coles or Woolies and just buy the sausage rolls and the party pies and the party bags. You can just have it all to yourself.
No. It doesn't work like that. It's you must experience. It's about the experience. And I've got to tell you about a little Harry Potter party that I went to.
What, last week?
As a child that I'll never forget. Yes, it was actually. You remember back in the day when Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the film came out, and Harry Potter was like at the height of its fandom.
Oh yeah, everyone wanted to be Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes, including me. And I went to this party, and they'd set up the whole house as a Hogwarts experience. Imagine like a Hogwarts like escape room. It was kind of like that. So we weren't trying to escape.
Oh, okay.
It was like, so at the front, at the entrance, there was this sliding door, and they'd like covered the glass with like this brick wall, if that makes sense. So like there was like a poster of bricks like behind the glass, and on the bricks it said 9 3/4.
Oh wow!
And you had to sprint into the party, and the door would open like as you sprinted in.
Oh really?
Then you would go into the Great Hall and be sorted into your house. And this is this is like the early 2000s. So they had like they had these little record tapes.
Oh yeah.
And they'd slot it in this like little record player. And as you'd go to the sorting hat, they'd like press play on this pre-recorded thing, and it would say one of the houses.
Really?
And it was so fucking... So everyone got sorted into like these houses.
That's amazing.
And then the party games were based around your like house group. Dude, we played Quidditch. We ate like it was like pumpkin pie, but it was like, you know, like pumpkin pasties.
Oh yeah.
And there
Like
was
the
like
thing.
Bertie Bott's every flavored beans and chocolate frogs and shit. It was crazy. And her parents were dressed up as her mum was McGonagall.
Oh my god! Wait, so where was my invite to this party back in the day? Like, whose birthday was this?
This was I don't even remember this person's name. There was this girl that went to my dance school.
Oh,
and she just invited everyone. It was like a case of like, so we're all invited, and as happens, I think with
yeah, everyone gets invited because you don't want to be mean or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were all invited, and it was a blast, dude. Best party I've ever been to.
Dude, that's amazing. Because I thought it was like someone in our grade that we just chose not to invite me. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, dude. I wish you could have been there. You would have loved it.
But don't you love that, Brenton, that like back in the day, like everyone has to be invited? Like we were more social when we were like 7 or 8 than we are now, simply because like you always got invited to every birthday party.
I know, right? It's like, oh geez, I got another one.
Yeah. And like the parents would all awkwardly like loiter around and have to like force themselves to talk to the other parents while the kids were getting like high off like sugary sweets and all that.
So what do you do?
Mate, I'm dreading that when I become a parent. I'll just be joining in the kids. Like, I'll just be like, yes, hundreds and thousands, get me around that. Get me around the fairy bread.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Fairy bread, yes.
Yeah, man. But I remember, like, my memories of, like, childhood parties were, like, when you would just be... I remember just awkwardly, like, sitting by pools a lot of the time, because it'd always be a bloody pool party, because everyone on the Gold Coast has a fucking pool. And, like, it awkwardly, like, there'd always be one person who wanted to ask someone else out when they're a kid. Remember, there'd always be that one person who, like, wanted to ask their crush out at a birthday party.
Yes, I do remember those days. I do remember those days of idly sitting by a pool talking bullshit. Nothing's changed.
So much has changed, Brenton. Now we just do it on an audio medium.
Welcome to episode number 35 of Classic Movie Banter. You know, that podcast where we review movies that are 20 years or older. You know, we review them, we give our personal opinions, we have a chat about it, and then we move on with our lives.
We really do. We just stop by, we talk about this film and never mention it again, because that's what cinema is. Yeah.
Unless it stars Willem Dafoe, and then we mention it every week.
Yeah, we do. Oh, Brenton, I have a sin to confess to you, actually. I saw Aquaman.
Oh, fuck you.
I know. I couldn't wait, buddy. I was like, I need to see this film.
It's all good. How was it?
Okay, I'll start off with Willem Dafoe, because obviously he's the most important part of it. He's barely in it.
Oh!
I know, you missed nothing.
Oh.
He's around for a little bit, and then he has to go away because a thing happens, and then he comes up right at the end, and he's like, Aquaman, you're the best. And that's Willem Dafoe.
God damn it!
He's also very calm in the film, like Willem Dafoe, because he plays like the mentor figure to like young Aquaman. So like he's very calm and reserved. He doesn't Willem Dafoe it. Like there's no point where he like bursts into emotion. Like he's very reserved in the film.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Out am I? God damn it!
I know. He's in, Brenton. He's in the film actually.
He's in.
He's in.
So speaking of films you've seen,
yes,
you told me before that you'd seen a little movie by the name of Glass.
I have seen Glass because I thought, well,
and I
yes, Brent.
I wanted to pick your brains. I wanted to pick your brains and find out what you thought of that movie.
Oh, sure.
Before we talk about this week's movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Because I've seen. Okay. I saw Glass. I saw Glass literally last night. Because it's opening weekend, and because I rush to the cinemas when I can, Brenton, and I had because critics are mixed on this film. They either love it or they hate it, and I had a fun time with it. It's a slow film. It's a very long film, but I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I think what the glue of that film is that watching James McAvoy just... Because have you seen Split?
I have seen Split, okay. Yes.
If you think he's weird in Split, he's even weirder in this, and it's amazing.
Oh, great.
Like, James McAvoy alone is worth the price of admission. Like, the story's a little bit all over the shop, and there's some very interesting character choices that some of them make, but, like, yeah, I had fun with it. I don't know if I'd recommend to see it in a cinema. Oh, actually, you know what the best thing about Glass was? Yeah. I saw it in 4D.
What the fuck? How? Where?
Okay, so you and I both live in Sydney, and so there's a cinema called Event Cinemas George Street that you and I normally go to for movies. Brenton, I discovered recently that the George Street cinemas are the only ones in Australia, besides theme parks, that actually offer a 4D experience with movies.
What was 4D about Glass?
Okay.
What did they do?
This is great. So, like, because we rocked up, and one of my workmates who I saw the movie was running up late, so we couldn't see the original like normal screening. So the next screening available was the 4D one. So we're like, fuck it, let's go see what 4D's about. And what it is, Brenton, have you done the Shrek 4D ride at Movie World?
I have.
Okay,
yes.
then you're in for a whirlwind. So what it is that the chairs move, so they rock forward, back, left, right, all that kind of stuff. And there's fans on the side of the cinema, so you get blown with wind at some point. There's like little hoses like on the like top part of your seat that squirt water up into the air. So every time a character walks into rain, you are literally showered with water in your chair. And there are so many scenes in this fucking movie where Bruce Willis is just walking in the rain. So I got drenched, Brandon.
Are you serious? That's fucking crazy.
It's so much fun. But you know what? I thought it'd be a distraction, but it actually adds to the film. I genuinely had a better time with Glass because of the 4D effects.
I think I gotta go check this out.
You have to do it, because like before the movie starts, there's like, this is 4D cinema, and they play this like 30-second clip of like an action scene, and you're literally like jolted around in your chair, and it's very confronting. Like if you have motion sickness, I would not recommend it, because it's the chair moves a fair bit, and it's funny that like in front of us there was like this elderly couple who I'm not too sure knew about the 4D elements. And when the thing started playing and the seats just started jolting, they fucking gripped the side of their armchairs, and they were like, were turning their heads on, going like, what the fuck? Oh, it was great.
Earthquake! Seismic activity!
But like every time like a character like leans forward or leans back, your chair leans forward or leans back. Every time there's a fucking punch in the movie,
that's fucked.
like your chair vibrates. Like it's like and this one goes for like 2 hours, whereas like the Shrek ride in Movie World goes for like 10 minutes. So... like, you're so happy when there's a scene where two characters are just talking because you finally just get to rest.
That's so crazy. I gotta go check
It's
this
so
out.
much fun.
That's nuts.
You need to do it for like an action movie, so you're just like rocking about for like 2 hours. It's so much fun.
Sure.
But Glass, I had a good time with it.
Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan,
Yes.
let's talk about the film we're talking about this week, which is The Sixth Sense.
Would you like me, Brenton, to pitch you this movie?
Nathan, could you please pitch me this film?
Okay. So Brenton, welcome to 1999. It's I've got those like Happy New Year like 2000 glasses on because I'm so excited about the new year next year. So you're walking into my office. It's 1999. I'm playing that song where it's like we're going to party like it's 1999. And let me pitch you this film, Brenton. So I'm M. Night Shyamalan. I've just made some really indie features, and I want to make a horror film, Brenton. A horror film where this kid, Haley Joel Osment, he's not too well, Brenton. He's excluded in school. He lives in Philadelphia. Yeah, this kid's just not normal. He's been raised by Toni Collette, who's she's a little bit on edge because this kid is seeing things and strange things are happening in the house, Brenton. And he's a very he loves going to church. He's a church boy. And Bruce Willis, who plays a child psychologist, he's like, you know what? This little kid who's got some issues, I've got some issues too. How about we try and solve each other's issues together? And so they team up and they have some chats and try and fix each other's mental health. In a film where they use all 5 senses, and maybe, Brenton, they use even a 6th sense. The movie.
Great pitch.
Thank you.
Well done. I can't wait to see it. Yes. Here's $1 million. Yes.
It's a thank you. Give me all the money. It's gonna make a fuckload of more money, and because I'm gonna make this thriller that's gonna be marked as a horror film, and you're gonna be scared, Brenton, because there's some scary moments.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's make it.
All right.
The Sixth Sense. I gotta say, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rip that Band-Aid off, put it in the corner. Let's go. This is a good film. It's quite a good film. I do. Again, like you said, I'm not sure if this is a horror film, but definitely a thriller and one of the best thrillers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is a great film. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's an excellent film because it's good tension and that kind of stuff. I think my biggest gripe with this movie, like, for a lot of it, I didn't know what the point of it was. Like, besides it being, like spooky and this kid's a little bit not with it, you know what I mean? It wasn't, like, until the end that it kind of came full circle. I'm like, oh, this is the message of the film and that kind of stuff. This is the lesson I've learned, Brendan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
for sure.
Yeah, like, I think what makes this film great, first off, is the casting. I think, like, Haley Joel Osment, like, where the hell did this kid come from?
Mrs. Osment's womb would be the correct answer, I think.
Oh, that's where...
At
Brenton,
this point, like, literally.
Oh.
But literally, like, he's so young in this film.
He's
But
crazy
not only
young.
Haley Joel Osment. He's great. Like, there's no denying, like, one of the best child performances of all time.
If not the...
But let's talk about just, like... Yes, I would agree with that. Yes. I mean, who else really?
Macaulay Culkin in Richie Rich.
Yeah, I mean, like that's some tough, stiff competition. Maybe we'll have to have a seasonal sevens episode of the top 7 child performances of all time.
Oh my god, yeah. If you had Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone, like, versus Haley Joel Osment in Sixth Sense, like, they literally just like fought each other. Who do you reckon would win?
Haley Joel, man. Haley Haley Joel all the way.
Really? Dude, like, Corkin would, like, kill this child. Like, have you seen him in Home Alone? Like he's a murderer.
No. Haley Joel, I believe in you. Saw it all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I reckon they're both excellent, but like, yeah, he's like this kid like should have gotten an Oscar for this performance. Like, I forget, like, even against adult actors, I think this is one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Michael Caine beat him, didn't he? Because it was
his
second
for
Oscar,
Cider House Rules.
Yeah.
For that memorable film, Brenton, that iconic film, Cider House Rules.
Oh, that one, yes.
That's like such bullshit. I mean, but like, could you imagine seeing like child Haley Joel Osment doing an Oscar speech?
I would have loved it. I would have genuinely enjoyed myself. But I gotta say that the other performances in this film were really good too. Toni Collette as Hey J.O.'s mother.
Australia's own Toni Collette.
Great performances. And I think Bruce Willis is really well cast and is really great as obviously the lead of the film.
Fantastic.
It's funny because Bruce Willis is a really interesting guy, I think. In terms of his career. That, I don't know, he doesn't seem to get a lot of recognition for some of the work he's done.
Yeah.
But he's done some great films, yeah.
He has, actually, yeah. He's good at being stoic. Like, he's like, you know, under subtext emotion, you know, that kind of stuff. Like... it'd be weird seeing him doing like a very extroverted role because in this film he's very like down in the dumps. Like, obviously this film's like got heavy subject matter, but like, yeah, Bruce Willis, he's not a bag of sunshine, this film, is he?
No. I wouldn't call it that. And I think like that might be the reason, like, because I understand that character, obviously, and I think it's a great character, but I think that might be the reason this film is actually, because the only negative I would say per se is that the film is, it uses its time. It's quite slow in terms of its pace.
I think it's very slow in its pacing, frankly.
Yeah. And that's probably my only criticism of it. But in saying that, the highs are the highest highs there can be because it kind of has this build to it, if that makes sense. Yeah. I
think the writing is a bit of a mixed bag too sometimes. Like, I definitely wasn't a fan of this film when it first opened, because the opening scene is literally just all exposition. I was not buying it, because you see like Bruce Willis and his wife, and she's literally like reading, like she's literally telling the audience, oh, you're a child psychologist, here, I'm going to read all your awards, oh, you do this, oh, you do that. And I thought the whole film was going to be like that, but thankfully, like later on, like it becomes just a much more reserved, and you're trying to work out what's wrong with Haley Joel Osment.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And like, yeah, I think also the film, what it doesn't get credit for is that there's a lot of banter between Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment. Like, they joke around and like play off each other a fair bit.
Definitely, yeah. They've got great chemistry in this film.
Yeah, I mean, they're no Thelma and Louise, but they certainly go on some wild adventures together.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously we've kind of given our positives and our criticisms. Overall, I'd say that this film, it succeeds. Like, there's moments, I remember watching this when I was young and being quite frightened of certain aspects of this movie, specifically the let's call them the spirits in the film, as a child. Nowadays, not so much, but I kind of like you said, that once you get the message of this film, I kind of like where it's going, and it kind of does tie it all together.
Yeah, but like, I really didn't get it till much later on in the film, like what like the underlying theme and like all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, this is where the meaning and the feels are at. And like, is it worth the wait? I think so. I think also, like, we should mention this like in this section, like this film, like M. Night Shyamalan's other work, has a twist, and it's very, very well known for its twist. I think. Do you want to say the famous line from this film in this section? Like, is that giving something away?
Just leave it till spoilers.
Yeah, we'll leave it till spoilers. There's a very famous line from this film. I'm sure most people know it, but we'll save it till spoilers for those who don't. I had never seen this film before, and so going in, I knew the line, and I also knew the twist at the end, because there is a twist, and I actually do admit, like, normally because you and I've had this conversation before, like, if you know the spoiler, it doesn't take away from the movie because you want to see how it gets there, but it kind of did for me a little bit, like I did, like, because the twist is so amazing that, like, it makes you question everything in the movie you saw before, and so, like, during the film, I was kind of already on the lookout for evidence of the twist, and so that kind of did distract me throughout the film. I still had a blast with it, but like it definitely did detract from the experience. So like, obviously, if you know the twist, you can't do much about it. But like, if you can watch it with someone who doesn't know the twist, then I think that would be a better scenario for you.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. In saying that though, like when I first watched this again, like I knew the twist very well, and I knew what the film was about, but I still thought I was still invested in it. And I think it has a lot of really standout moments that, especially some horror scenes that I think are quite good.
Yeah, I must say, like, I was spooked by it. And also, like, because this film has jump scares, but they're not, like, the worst jump scares. Like they're very subtle. No. Like, it's not like Conjuring or, like Paranormal Activity or something like that. Like, when it's like, there's maybe, like, 5 or 6, and when they happen, like, it's not as bad as a normal jump scare, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude. And there's one jump scare that's, like, this is hard to, I guess, to articulate, but there's one jump scare that it's like, it's not actually the fact that it's a jump scare that it scares you, but it's like how it's executed that's like fucking scary. And I can't wait to talk about it to you in the spoilers, because it's genuinely, for me, that's the scariest point in the film.
Oh yeah, I have several of those things. Like, I think M did a great job directing. Like I must say, like well
Definitely.
done.
Definitely, yeah. Hey, like, you watch this and you go, hey, who's this guy? Like, this is gonna be the next Scorsese. This is gonna be the next, like, the next big thing. And it's kind of like, what happened?
And then he made Airbender. Have you seen his other films? Like, what other work have you seen?
I haven't seen his whole filmography, but I've seen this. I've seen Unbreakable. Mm-hmm. And I'll say Unbreakable and Split. I've also seen The Last Airbender. I've seen I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, The Village
with the trees. No, it's like,
The Happening.
Yes. It's just one of the biggest hot messes of a film you'll ever see in your life. It's just Oh, have you seen that?
I haven't. I've been told explicitly to avoid it because it's such a hot mess.
It's worth a watch. I know you've been told to, but
in the same way Cats is worth a watch, like.
Ooh, similar idea. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude. So now that we've kind of spoken a bit about this film, I really just kind of want to get into spoilers.
Hey, we got to rate the film first.
Spoilers.
Brendan. We didn't even give it our thumbs up yet. We haven't. You just, or do you want to rate it at the very end of the episode? Do you just want to dive into spoilers now?
Let's look. I'm just going to rip the band off and say I give this film a thumbs up.
All right. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Thursday night, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'd say watch it. Like, if you know the twist, it won't be as good, but I still think it's still worth watching.
Oh, dude, it's worth a watch. Definitely. This is a great Thursday night film, actually.
Yeah.
Especially if you have people in the group. If you have people in the group that haven't seen this film, and they probably will know what the twist is, but if they don't know what the twist is, just fucking put it on, and everyone just shut the fuck up, and like just look at each other, and you all know like what's coming, and just see what the reaction is.
But it is slow, so like if you're gonna watch it with mates, like I don't know, maybe like have like a Scrabble board in front of you, like in the down sense.
Yeah, dude. Have a couple drinks, you're good to go. It's gonna be a fun time.
You'll be right. Maybe cook, mate, while this film is on. Like maybe like make a pasta or something. Like.
Yeah. Let's go. Spoilers.
All right,
let's go. All right, I'm kicking spoilers off with one of my favorite scenes from this film, and it's also I just think it's such a well executed scene, and for me, it's probably the scene of the film, and that is the scene between Haley Joel Osment and his mum in the car waiting after the car crash. That is such a good fucking scene. Like, oh my god, I just love that scene, and it's probably like it's quite generic, I guess, in terms of the actual script, but it's just so well executed. It's so well acted. It's well shot too. It's a great scene. Dude. And like the subtext, because you understand the mother's motivation, like you understand like the child's motivation, like you so know where all of them are at. Like I thought it's even funny. Like I love it when like he says, "Oh, I know about the lady," and the camera pans and just see this dead woman standing outside the vehicle. Dude, I don't even know if that's funny. I remember like I still find it unsettling. Like in that moment, how she's like, "Oh, where is she?" And it's like, "Well, where is she?" And he's like, "She's standing by my window." Reaction shot of mum. shot back to the kid as he continues the next kind of line, the next thought into the scene, and she's just kind of finishing. It's like she's been standing there for a fucking hour, and it's like, holy fuck! And it's like,
Oh my
it's
God.
like she's got a helmet on, and like the blood's like just like kind of like.
The
Dude,
makeup in this film's amazing.
and then but the emotional payoff too of like bringing in the grandma and like having that like that other link that kind of brings them both together, and it's just
and she believes him. She finally believes him.
yeah.
But dude, I laughed so much in that scene.
She's such a good mum.
She's a good mum. But I couldn't take Haley Joel Osment seriously. Like, when he turns to her and he says, "I'm ready to communicate with you now," he says it so weirdly. Like,
it's such a great line.
like, imagine if your child, you're in a car, you're just dropping them off at school, and they just turn to you and they said, "I'm ready to communicate with you now." Like, it's so weird. and also the way he says grandma says hi, it's so good.
I genuinely think one of the great scenes, if not the best scene in the film.
But it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I like the way, she hugs him and, she's crying and he's crying and like, no, despite the humor, I did love it. Yeah.
Let's talk about, in talking about ghosts and bikers with blood coming down under their helmets, let's talk about the ghosts in this film.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you my scariest moment?
Okay, yeah, you go.
Yeah, because I feel like you've got a good one, but I just want... Okay, for me personally, the one I found was the most horrifying was when the kid goes for a pee. And, like, the thing walks past.
Dude, I have to say that's the exact same moment I was about to say.
Oh, really?
It's always scared the crap out of me. Like, when I saw it as a kid, I was like, holy shit. And it's not just that. That makes me terrified enough. It's the payoff of where it goes. Like, and then he goes to the kitchen. And this freaking woman is like, I've made you fucking dinner. I've done this. She turns around, shows her slit wrist, and then just, like, walks at this fucking little kid. It's just like terrifying. Holy
oh my God.
shit.
See, I can't imagine watching this film as a child. Like, it would have freaked me the fuck out. Like, I couldn't have done it. Like,
It did. That scene was the scariest scene by far. And the way it's lit is just very unsettling. And that walk across that jump scare, and it's not even that it makes you go, oh shit. It's that it's just... Ooh.
It's so subtle,
like,
and like also it can happen in real
Yeah.
life. Like when I had to go pee after that film, and as I was peeing, I just like awkwardly had to look around me as I was in the bathroom because I'm like, is there someone that's gonna walk past?
Yeah, well, if that happens, just turn, for our listeners out there, just turn and if you're male, just turn your whole body around and just, like a fireman, just
blast it everywhere.
just unleash. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because, you never know if you're in danger, and if you're not, like, you have a mess to clean up, and that sucks. But if you're right,
hey,
you've
you just saved your life.
Your own. Yeah.
Like, oh man, that was scary. Like, what are these ghosts thinking? Like, I imagine because you work out that these ghosts are trying to communicate with this kid like something before they pass into the afterlife. They're trying to like solve something. Like, could you imagine that they're just like walking around? They're just hoping to give a message to some kid, but this kid's like just freaking the fuck out every time he sees them. Like, these ghosts must be like, yes, calm down, we exist. Just like, let's give you the message so we can get the fuck out of here. Like, they must just be so bored. Like, I can understand the trauma though of them obviously being dead. But dude, there was there's like even little moments without the ghost that I still found quite scary. Like when you see the writing that the kid does, like that swearing paper, I was like spooked out by that. I love also the moment where like he's having brekkie or dinner in the kitchen, and the mother walks out in that one shot, and she comes back and all the bloody cupboards are open.
Yeah.
And she looks at him, she's like, "How the fuck did you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know." Like,
like it's just this. I think, like I think especially with like ghost stories and like these kind of things, the subtler, the scarier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I was so spooked. I love the kid's little Jesus fort as well that he's built.
Yes, yeah.
But like, I can't believe the mother would let that. Does she know that he has a little Jesus fort in his room, or like, because like,
I don't know, but like I feel like that should have come up in conversation at some point.
Like, as a parent, I'd be like, so what's with all the Jesus statues you've been stealing? Like, do you want to go to church? Like, do you want to go through baptism or something?
What's going on here?
What's going on? Yeah. But what did you?
Yeah, and let's talk about the twist as well.
Okay,
I feel like
that's where I was about to go as well.
We should get there. Yeah. Hey, it's quite well executed. The only thing I'd say is that Watching it again, I was wondering if it was necessary to have the flashback to the I see dead people scene.
Yeah. Oh no, I think it was necessary.
I feel like it's
Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe M's definitely like underestimating his audience, how intelligent they are. But like, I thought when he says the famous line, "I see dead people," and it like pans into Bruce Willis, I thought that like would have given it away to people because like the camera zooms in on Bruce Willis's face as he says it.
yeah.
Like it's so obvious when you know what the actual twist is.
Funny fact I have about that scene, but it's not for this section.
It's not for this section,
we'll
no. But like, I love the way he communicates the line. He only says it the once, does he? Or does he say it again to his mother in the car? I forget.
No, he says those words once.
Yeah.
He says it a different way to his mum.
Yeah, but like, man, the way when he says it, like, what a line! Like, he says it's this kid loves whispering. By the way, like he never raises his voice, does he? Except for that one time when he shits on that teacher with the what does he call that teacher? That's what he bloody yells.
Oh, I can't quite remember, but yeah. It's
and that teacher's like, you piece of shit.
Interesting kid.
Yeah, interesting kid. Yeah.
Very.
Speaking of the school, I love how many school plays they're putting on during the year. Like they do so many fucking plays.
Where is this school's budget going? Seriously,
exactly.
Like,
and it's got good production design as well. Like the costumes are amazing for a school play. I'm like, this school's got a great arts budget.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
It's crazy. Like I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, they're just really they're really providing these kids with a lot of extracurricular activities. You know what I mean?
Do you love that kid as well?
You know what I mean? Yes.
Do you love that kid in the play as well, who's actually an actor, and you see his commercial at one point?
Yeah.
I love that. That's a whole subplot in the movie that this kid wants to be an actor. He's like, this is how you do improv. Like, I love it. It's so good.
It's so good.
Oh, I love that kid
so much. Isn't that fun?
Much.
Like, it's just fun. Yeah.
It's such a random thing that M decided to put in the movie. But Brenton, I thought your favorite line, I almost like spat out my water when I heard this line, was when Bruce Willis leaves the play with Haley Joel Osment, and Haley Joel Osment's like, "Oh, Bruce Willis, what did you think of my play?" And he says, "Well, the play was better than Cats."
Yes, it's a classic, and like. Now you know. Now you can like relate to that line.
I can appreciate
you know what I mean?
When he said it, I'm like, this
now
is amazing.
Understand.
This is the best line he could have said.
Oh, it's perfect. It's so good. What would even be better if we found out that Bruce Willis like totally like improvised that line, which I don't think he did, obviously.
Because when I was doing the research, I was hoping for that. Like, could you imagine? Actually, there's like a whole scene that was cut from the movie where he just shits on all these other plays. He's like, well, it's better than Cats. It's better than this. It's better than that. It's better than my own previous work. It's better than half of Bruce Willis's films. Like, he's just like going on this rant about how shitty other films
That's so funny.
Oh, he's great. Yeah. Did you also love did you love M. Night as the Doctor?
Probably one of the greatest performances of all time.
Oh, mate, I thought he was like... Okay, I know I was going to save this for fun facts, but or whatever we call that section, but apparently M. Night hated that he did that role.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he like, of all the... Like,
that's really interesting.
Someone asked him, like, in an interview once, like, oh, what are your big regrets as a filmmaker? And he didn't mention, like, Last Airbender or anything like that. He said, my bloody cameo in... Like, you think you go for an obvious answer like that. He said, no, my cameo in my film, The Sixth Sense. He's like, I did a shit job of it. But you know why he did it? He did it because...
why?
He did it because his parents wanted him to be a doctor. Because he's an Indian. He grew, and so his Indian parents like, you should be a doctor when you grow up. And so he thought he'd make himself a doctor just to make his parents happy.
Hey, M. Night, that's not a good enough reason, buddy. Sorry.
No.
But good work for trying.
Yeah, good job, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, speaking of facts, why don't we just skip the beat and get into... How did they make this movie? Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's. Have you got some facts for me, Brenton?
I actually do. What was the fact I was going to say to you before, Nathan? We were discussing something, and I said, "There's something about that I." Well, let's go to my list of facts.
I love how you jump into the section. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not prepared for this. So
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you want me to start?
Here's my list now. No, I was going to start with the... you know how you said that it's very strange that, when they have that kind of creep and shot of Bruce Willis as I see dead people.
Oh, yeah.
Is that originally they nearly cut that shot because they thought it was too much and it was too obvious.
Oh, really?
But then they decided to leave it in, and still, like, people didn't catch on during the film.
Wow. I mean, if I did know the twist, I feel like I definitely wouldn't have picked it up, because I'm so bad with, like, thinking during movies. Like, I'm the most passive viewer in the world, so I don't think I would have picked it up. But it's funny, when you do know it, it's so obvious.
Yeah. And speaking of shots, I think it's really interesting. I don't know if you know this, but this whole film was filmed in sequence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Like,
I don't know.
'cause-
M. Night, dude.
because I know Spielberg, when he filmed E.T., he filmed that film also in sequence, and Spielberg said he did that because he was working with child actors. He wanted them to like each day go through the emotional journey that their characters were going through.
Sure.
So maybe it could have been a thing for Haley Joel Osment.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I was going to say as well on that note that Toni Collette, who played obviously Haley Joel Osment's mother, was so moved by the emotional resonance of this story while filming that she didn't even realize when she signed on that it was a horror film, and she didn't realize until after its release.
Did she not read the script, like where all like the jump scares happen, like a bloody?
No, she read. She thought it was just such a beautiful piece of like of emotional resonating material. You know what I mean? And then she finds out afterwards that it's actually a horror movie. Isn't that great though?
I love
That's
that.
fun.
I love that. Like maybe she's bringing her kids to the premiere, going, "Oh, look at this moving little story I found." And then next minute, there's like hanging people in like the schools, and like there's like a kid with a blast gun shot to the head, and she's like, "Oh no, wait a minute."
Yeah.
like she takes her kids, like they're all sitting in the cinema, and they watch that bloody funeral scene, and they're like, "Mummy, why did the mother poison her daughter?" And she's like, "Kids, this is not reflective of me." Like.
Holy shit, we didn't talk about that scene in spoilers. Just quickly, as an aside, holy shit, that mother that poisons the daughter. Holy
Where the hell did that
fucking
come
shit.
from?
That's possibly the scariest thing in the film. Holy shit,
so
that's
fucked up.
crazy.
Like, why did that happen? Why did she do it? Like, because the film never explains it. I read somewhere in the YouTube comments that apparently she's the stepmother of that daughter. So like,
right, so it's like, oh god,
yeah, but that's so fucked up.
Oh god, she's like more evil than the evil stepmother, you know.
Oh
from
my god,
Cinderella.
I can't believe she poisoned that child. Yeah, and kudos to the dad, like his acting when he like confronts her in the funeral.
It's such a good performance, isn't it? Like as he watches that video, that steady shot of him as he realizes what's happened, and as he walks into that room, and yeah,
That's so fucked up. Like I love Haley Joel Osment as well when he passes in the box. He's like, "This is for you," and then the father's like, "What? Who is this child?" Like,
the fuck?
it's so creepy,
Yeah.
but I love it. Oh, good on him for it. But another fun fact. Actually, speaking of Haley Joel Osment, another child actor who was very close to getting the part was Michael Cera.
No way.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and he was like close
That's
to it as
so
well.
funny.
Yeah, but it was funny.
Wow.
Because so when he did the audition, this is the best part about it. So Michael Cera, he was 10 years old when he auditioned for this. He didn't know the tone of the scenes, so he played it really upbeat. So it's like, oh, guess what, Bruce Willis? I just see dead people. And M. Night's like, ooh, this is kind of not what we're going for.
That's so funny. I got it. Speaking of that line, I see dead people. Do you know that M. Night Shyamalan only recently revealed that the original line was actually written as, I observe deceased individuals, but then he decided to rewrite it.
That's such a George Lucas line, isn't it?
I know, isn't it?
What the fuck?
The midichlorian count.
Could you imagine Haley Joel Osment saying that actual line? Like, what is it? I observe the deceased. What's the line?
I observe deceased individuals.
Bruce Willis is like he's like holding up a thesaurus as he's delivering the line, and Bruce Willis is like, what?
Bruce Willis is like, no amount of therapy is going to solve this. Like, seriously.
He's like, you know that scene where he's like telling Haley
man.
Joel Osment to like walk forward and walk backwards? Like, Bruce Willis just walks like 10 feet backwards after that line. Like,
yeah.
he's like, nah, I'm not going to read your mind anymore, kid.
Any other facts, Nathan?
I have one more fact for you. The Disney executive who bought the film, he actually bought the script. He was fired for it. Do you know this story?
Yeah. I do know the story, but continue. It's a great story.
It's great because the guy who was like, he was like head of like Disney, he was like president of the Disney Productions, and like he read this script, The Sixth Sense, and he thought, this is bloody incredible. What an amazing script, and it is an amazing script. He paid like $2 million for the script. He didn't get approval, Brenton, from Disney to buy the script, and so. Also, could you imagine like
God.
Disney making this horror film? Like, this is the most like non-Disney film you could possibly make. Like,
I know, right? I feel like, ugh, it's so random. Yeah.
yeah. So like,
Continue there.
yeah,
sorry.
no. So his name was David Vogel, and when David did it, like his boss came up to him, like whoever ran Disney at the time, maybe Eisner or something. He came up to him, he's like, "Dude, what the hell? Like, we're not going to make this movie. We're Disney." And he's like, "No, we should really make this. This would be an amazing picture." And then he was fired, and then
Oh God.
Buena Vista or whoever it was made, or whoever production, they made it anyway.
That's insane, isn't it? That's so crazy. God.
I know. Imagine being fired for just wanting to make a great film like this.
No, but I understand. I mean, it's like a lot of money, and especially if you're Disney, and this guy's like, we should make a horror film about a kid that sees dead people. I guess it actually kind of makes sense as a Disney film when you think about it.
Really? Can you pitch that to me? Like,
from it, well, okay. Well, it's from you. If say it's from like the child's perspective, and it's like a child coming to grips with like death and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it could be, it could work. But yeah, it's still the way the film is.
Could you
being
imagine
made
if like
now,
Disney like
it's
tried
so
to like
dark.
Disneyify it? Because this would have been right at the end of the Disney Renaissance. So they're like, "Fuck it, let's make this into a musical, Brenton." Like, we'll be like,
Oh my
they'll
God.
be like, "I see dead people, but I don't know if I could talk to them." And then Bruce Willis is like, "My wife is not with me. She's not listening. She doesn't talk to me at dinner parties." And he's like, "Some weird guy's just coming to her house. I don't know if he's sleeping with her or not. They run a jewelry store, but I can't buy her a ring." Like,
Oh,
that'd be great if they
gosh.
did a Disney musical of it.
Sure, why not? That's a good pitch. You should well, you know, you should definitely pitch
Or
that. to them.
animated, it might work
the
actually,
reboot.
because you could have all like the ghost spirits. They look like the bloody ghosts from Hercules, and like,
Yeah.
you could when she runs the jewelry store, she can be like, "So many rings, so little time."
So Nathan, shall we talk about this film's poster?
Yeah, man. Let's look at this film's poster. I'm gonna say straight off the bat, Brenton, I think this is a shit poster.
I think, oh, dude, you took the words from my mouth.
I literally like grabbed them out of your mouth and just chucked them to the side.
That sounds like it just looks like shit.
What a horseshit poster! It's such a weird photo of Bruce Willis as well. Like, he looks as though he's looking at like maybe. What do you think he's looking at? Maybe he's looking at Haley Joel Osment just like dancing on a table or something. He's like, "What's this kid up to?" Like,
I feel like he's looking at a burrito that he wants to eat.
he's like, "Should I eat it? I don't know." Like, he gives that look.
I am dieting at the moment.
Actually, you know, because there's an awkward thing where Bruce Willis first gets shot at the start of the movie, and then there's that next scene where he's like awkwardly stalking Haley Joel Osment, and you're not too sure of the relationship, so you're not too sure what he's doing with this child. It's like he kind of gives that face that he
dear.
gives then, like.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think what ruins this poster, though, beyond any doubt, is the fact that there's a silhouette of either Haley Joel Osment or a ghost, and there's a 6. The light behind it is like creating a 6.
Yeah.
What a shit poster!
It's just so bad. Like it would have been so much better if there was like a photo, like maybe. Oh, okay, for the poster. What about like, okay, imagine Haley Joel Osment like perfectly framed in the center in his Jesus fort, and he looks horrified at something he's seeing off the poster.
Yeah.
He's like surrounded by the
That's
Jesuses,
good.
and like he's like holding up a cross like the Exorcist, and he's looking at like something that's like behind us in the poster, and then maybe the tagline could be like you don't want to see what he sees.
Sure. What about
He's
a
like,
poster
pause that.
where
Let me
it's-
give a better idea.
What if it's a poster of like, you know, it's a shot from the doorway, Haley Joel Osment's pee, and we just see like a silhouette of a woman just walking, you know,
Oh my
in
god.
the foreground. There you go.
Oh, that'd be
The
great.
Sixth
Yeah,
Sense.
And you think, is it the peeing? Is that the Sixth Sense?
Exactly. Just throw it for a loop. You know, just you know.
Is it? Wait, what about, okay, I got a better one. Okay, what if it's like Bruce Willis? He's still pulling that same face, but it's from that scene where he's listening to the tapes and he begins to believe Haley Joel Osment, and he's just like holding up a weird VHS and he's like, ooh.
Yeah.
That should be the
Yeah.
poster.
But what about the title? What do you think? I think that Sixth Sense works as a title.
I mean, it's a good title, but I don't know if it's a. I don't know. I don't know if it's most.
Was there a sixth sense in the film?
Well, if you call the Sixth Sense, if you delegate that as him bloody seeing dead people, then I suppose. But like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of mixed with this title, Brenton. Like, I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe, I know what a better title would be. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like, I don't know. Like, it as a horror film, I guess it inspires intrigue. Like, oh, what is The Sixth Sense?
For sure.
There's another poster actually of this movie that's on the DVD cover where it has like sight, sound, taste, feel, I don't know, temperature, whatever the 5 are. And then like at the bottom it says like, and then it has like a 6 and then like a question mark. It's like, what do you think it is? Like, I guess how it works with the intrigue. Fun. But I don't know. I think a better title would have just been Haley Joel Osment gets trapped in a dungeon, or Toni Collette is off her meds, or Bruce Willis. He helps children now. Actually, no, that would be a terrible title. They could have gone the wrong way. Maybe like, maybe child therapy. Is it for yours?
Oh dear. Hey, man, shall we pass the power to the people? Pass it to the people, oh yeah.
So Brenton, on Rotten Tomatoes, this film sits at a beautiful 85% with an audience score of 90. So people seem to like this movie.
I feel like that's fair, yeah.
Yeah, very, very fair. So Brenton, what are they saying? What are the people saying?
Diana Stetko from Metro Times gave a bad review.
Oh no.
Rotten review. And said, another could have been film. Another almost successful compromise, another intelligent flick done in by its misplaced and worn-out star.
Really? Would you call Bruce Willis that like a worn-out star?
Misplaced and worn out.
I mean, maybe in like the mid-2000s, but certainly not here. Like,
no, God no. And like, he's not ruining the movie.
No. I mean, do you reckon it would have been better with someone else in the lead part?
I think it works. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think Bruce Willis does a fine job with what he's given, because he actually doesn't have to do a whole lot in the movie, and like, I like his calm demeanor.
No.
Like, especially when you compare it to him on like Die Hard. Like, he's like the perfect opposite of who he was in Die Hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Total Film, they liked it. They gave it 4 out of 5. They said, like The Exorcist, this isn't really a gore-splattered shocker. It's more a slow-burning, subconscious botherer. What do you reckon? How does this hold up compared to Exorcist, Brenton?
I actually think I enjoyed The Sixth Sense more.
Really? I was going to say the opposite, dude. Yeah. I think I had more fun with Exorcist.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think I genuinely probably enjoy Sixth Sense more than The Exorcist, yeah.
But I think you like your slow burn kind of thrills. I think like in the same way you enjoyed Lambs more than me. Like, I think I like Exorcist more because it's more outrageous. Because, like, especially, like, with the gore and the blood and, like, the little girl swearing, like... Or, could you imagine if Haley Joel Osment met the little girl from Exorcist?
I feel like that's a crossover horror movie that should happen one day.
Oh, could you imagine, he walks into her bedroom, she's tied to the bed, and with Bruce Willis, and he's like, Bruce Willis, I see dead people right there. And she's like, your mother sucks cocks. And then Haley Joel Osment's like, what do we do? How can I help you? And then Bruce Willis is like,
Yeah. Jasper C. gave the film 4.5 stars. Maybe one of the best Bruce Willis movies ever. Expect no guns, but still a lot of dead people.
Yeah. That's great.
Good one, Jasper. Good one,
Have you
buddy.
seen Die Hard, Brenton?
I have seen Die Hard.
Oh, mate, isn't it great? He's obviously better in Die Hard than this, isn't he?
Yes.
What if this was like a spiritual sequel to Die Hard? Like, at the end of it, John McClane just decides to turn to child... He quits his police job and he just, like, decides to turn to child therapy.
I feel like John McClane would not take a bullet and just die in bed.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, he definitely would. Yeah, he wouldn't have at all. Like, oh, it would be great as well. Like, could you imagine? He's just like, he's trying to help the kid and he's like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like, when he's just like, oh, that would have been great. Kathy W. Kathy W. She gave it 5 stars. She said, much better movie than the Oscar winner that year, American Beauty. Yeah, so this was up for Best Picture and American Beauty won. What do you reckon about that, Brenton?
That's a tough one.
It's tough. They're both very excellent. I mean, sadly, American Beauty is a little bit weird now because of Spacey, but like...
At the time, I still would have given it to American Beauty, probably.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah, I probably would have given it to it too. I think American Beauty is a better film. I think it's saying more than Sixth Sense is, which is probably what makes it a better film. Because obviously Sixth Sense is saying a lot about loss and like dealing with loss. That's the message, by the way, I like picked up at the end of the movie. I'm like, oh, this is about dealing with grief and all that kind of stuff. Because like Toni Collette comes to terms with her grief with her mother, and like so does Haley Joel Osment. They're all bloody miserable, this film. But yeah, I think Sixth Sense. I mean, yeah, American Beauty says more.
Jason Z, 5 stars.
Ooh.
If you're only going to see one Shyamalan movie, this is the one.
Is this his best film?
Probably. Unbreakable's pretty good, but I'd say this is better than Unbreakable.
Yeah. How do you like Split more than Unbreakable, or are you more of an Unbreakable fan?
No. I don't. Split, I thought, when everyone was like, this is good, this is pretty great, I was like, it's alright. You know? I wasn't the biggest fan.
It's fine, but you know what, Brenton? Actually, I think I prefer Split to Unbreakable, because I remember at the time I found Unbreakable really slow, and like...
Unbreakable is very slow.
You know what I also dislike about Unbreakable? It's a good film, but it also, like... I guess because it's from 2000, it hasn't aged well. It explains comic book tropes to its audiences. Like Samuel L. Jackson's like, this is a villain, this is a hero, this is what happens in comic books. Whereas these days, like moviegoer audiences, even if you barely watch comic book movies, you're still quite educated on the tropes. So it doesn't really hold up. Also, when it comes to Glass, Brenton, one of the biggest criticisms with Glass that just came out is that shit still happens. So Glass still tries to explain comic book tropes. And in 2019, that's just like dramatically outdated.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but no,
that's
if
weird.
You had to say
that is weird.
If you had to say watch a Shyamalan movie, then definitely you'd say watch Last Airbender.
Yes, for sure. Over the animated show, just...
Oh yeah, 100%.
The live action film.
Did I tell you, Brenton, that when I saw Last Airbender, I saw it in the cinemas with my sister? And like...
Oh no.
I know, because we went to the movies and I wanted to see... It would have been 2009 that it came out, so I think I wanted to see something else. But she's like, no, Nathan, you always choose the movies. Let me, my sister, choose a film. And I'm like, fine, what do you want to see? She said, let's see Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I'm like... Okay, all right, let's. I knew it was gonna be shit, but I'm like, let's do it. And we watched the movie, and I was sitting there the whole time, and it's bloody shit. And then we walked out the cinemas, and my sister, she would have been like maybe like 9 or something like that. She was like, "Oh, that was a great movie. I had a really fun time with it." And I'm like, Jessica, this movie is horseshit. And like, as we were walking to the car for our parents to pick us up, I was like just shitting on the film for like a good 10 minutes, to the point where my sister was like beginning to cry. She's like, Nathan, just like screw you. You like the one time I choose a movie, you just shit on it. Like you're just being such a bad brother. I'm like, no, M. Night Shyamalan's being a bad director. So we had a bad time at the movies.
Siskri from YouTube says, do you have to have seen the first 5 movies to understand this one?
It'd be great. Shyamalan just decides to make like the first sense, the second sense. Like it's about like a blind person, then a deaf person. Like, oh, that'd be great.
How funny is that? That's so funny. God.
Yeah.
I'm reading.
Sam Rich wrote on YouTube, watch this while taking a dump. Still got choked up. Oh, it's the best.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
I'd recommend maybe don't watch this movie. Also, how long is your dump taking that you have to watch a 2-hour film, like, in the toilet? Like,
you got issues, Sam Rich.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now I have that visual in my head and it's never going to go away.
Super Mario fan number 3. How can people give up on a director who made this?
Quite easily, apparently.
Well, look at his other work. Yeah, pretty
The
much.
Village,
Hey.
Signs, The Happening, Lady in the Water, Last Airbender. What's that one he made recently up before he made Split? That was alright too. I forget what that's called.
Oh.
It was a horror film. That was alright.
Yeah, I forget what it's called as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It escapes me. But that was alright. I heard. Yeah. That's why he got permission to make Split. Yeah. Could you imagine, kudos to James McAvoy, like, for saying yes to Split in the first place. Because, because M. Night still hadn't recovered his career yet. And so, pitching it to James McAvoy.
Dude, it would have been a risk, hey?
Yeah, but thank God it paid off. Like, good on James McAvoy. I must say, one good thing about Glass is that it's very, very satisfying watching him go up against Bruce Willis. Like, that is a good thing about Glass. I'd recommend it for that.
Ooh, I'm interested to see it. I don't know if I'll see it in the cinema.
No, don't see it in cinema. Unless you want to see it in 4D, Brenton, by all means.
I want to go see it in 4D. That's what I want to do. Well, Nathan, that's the Sixth Sense. That's the one.
We've done
that's
it, Brenton.
Sixth Sense.
We've just locked down episode 35. What a good film. Like, it's great. It's a great film, isn't it? Like, yeah, I must say, I'm surprised how many horror films we've done so far in this podcast, as someone who doesn't really like horror.
Wow, we've done a few.
Because we've done what? Halloween, Exorcist, this. Cats was pretty much a horror film when it comes down to it. Like,
Yeah.
Like, one cat has to die, so yeah, there you go.
Silence of the Lambs is considered a horror film.
Oh, true, actually, yeah, Lambs. Like, we've done a fair bit of
Yeah.
them, actually. Like, because I think before this, I'd barely seen any horror. I think because we watch these films together, Brenton, it forces me to watch this genre of cinema I normally avoid.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll ever warm up to, like, a film that's pure jump scares, like paranormal or, like...
No.
No.
Neither will I, ever. Yeah, no.
No, but as long as they're doing it to Brenton, buddy, we can be scared together, so we'll survive.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes, Brenton.
I'm ready to communicate with you now.
Are you really? What is it you wish to say, Brenton?
Grandma says,